Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a seat, everybody. I understand that this crowd is full of movers and shakers. In fact, the two things that make the world go round, educators and bankers.
Okay.
Welcome, teachers. Welcome, bankers. Welcome to the Social. We'd like to welcome back to the show, hilarious, the one and only Miguel Rivas.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
Good to have you
Welcome back. Okay, everybody, American pro golfer Scottie Scheffler, he's raising a few eyebrows after getting pretty real about his career. Take a listen to this.
I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart.
I don't like that.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Scottie is the world's #1 golfer currently. He recently earned his 16th career PGA Tour win, all while making millions of dollars in earnings and endorsements. So are those comments, is that a slap in the face to other golfers?
Interesting. Does anyone else feel like Scottie needs a bit of a hug, though? Like that there's something else going on underneath that? Like it seemed like there was a bit of a tinge of bitterness in the delivery of that. If you take out the tone, his words in and of itself, I don't find are a slap in the face. Not to me personally. I could see maybe how it would be to other golfers. He sounds a little bit sort of like ungrateful. I think it's in the tone. But to me, whenever you hear like a rock star or an actor or an athlete say, you know what, I got to the top of this mountain, it was a lot of work, I got all this money, and it still wasn't fulfilling. For them to say that out loud is actually a gift to all of us, to remind anyone who's trying and striving and whatever, that you know you can get all these things and you can still be unhappy if you don't fix and figure out what actually brings you fulfillment and happiness.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Miguel.
like, would you be upset? Sorry to interrupt, but it's like you're a comedian, you're an actor, you do all these things. Would you find it? Do you find it ungrateful when people who are really successful comedians or actors say things like that? Does it bother you?
I don't think it's ungrateful even. You know, I think it's a bizarre thing that we put microphones in athletes' faces nonstop, and then if they don't say what we want them to say, we get angry at them. Like, you know, someone misses a free throw to lose a basketball game, and under 4 minutes later, there's 20 people being like, "How would you rank this in your life as worst moments that ever happened?" And you're like, "I don't know. I haven't even taken a shower yet." But they have to like pontificate and think about it. But really, we want stock answers from them. This guy's going through it. Also, golf is a singular personal journey. It's not a team sport. So who knows what he's going through and you know in his mind to be the best golfer ever. He's got to have dedicated himself in a way that we probably don't even understand. So then we put a mic in front of him and we're like, "How do you really feel?" And he's like, "Well, I really feel like this." And it's like, "No, you don't." Say you're happy and you just want to sign a golf ball. And it's like, if we want them to be real people, let's let them be real people
And give their own real answers. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But you know what also, to your point, Cynthia, I think what we also don't realize is there are a lot of people who are at the very top of their game, regardless of what field they're in. And
like you three, right?
Right? And you don't have to clap for that. But we assume that this has been their life goal, and we assume this is something that they wanted for themselves. And what we never think about is there are a lot of people chasing goals and at the top of their game because they're trying to make their dad happy, or someone in their childhood told them, "You'll never make it. You're not good enough." And that spurs that little something inside them. It's like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. And then when they get there, they realize they're not really happy because this wasn't really for them. This was for somebody else or to prove something to somebody else. So when I was watching that, I'm like, that's very telling that he's gotten there, all of the accolades, and he's not feeling it. Well, I want to ask him, well, what was the goal? Did you just like golf and just want to play? And you maybe just didn't need all the competition, but somebody in your life made you feel like if you don't hit these marks, then it's all for nothing? I think we have to remember, a lot of people are chasing goals for somebody else, for some reason.
There's this image I always think of. Kobe Bryant was like a famously very driven basketball player, the most driven.
Yeah.
And there's this image that makes me laugh in a dark way. When he won his 4th championship, he's holding the trophy, and his smile, I swear to God, looks like this, like... It's like, what? You're not even happy that you won another championship? But he wasn't. He was like, because now he doesn't even know what to want.
I know, but he's the son of a professional basketball player who never made it to that level. His dad played internationally. So maybe that smile that's
living
not
his
there.
dad's dream.
He's living his dad's dream. He
People had a
realized
really
that.
strong reaction, though, in the audience.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It is a slap in the face. The way that he said it is a full-blown slap in the face to all the other guys and gals who are hustling on the circuit. I look at that.
Does he owe them anything?
No, he doesn't owe them anything. But I do think, you know, he made $106 million last year. $106 million. And it's, why is it the people who are always millionaires who say money doesn't matter? Why is it always the people who win everything who say winning doesn't matter? It's a very privileged position. And so I agree. He's human. He can say what he wants. But I also think at that level, he's been in the game a long time. He's had a lot of success. Yeah. There is a certain part of you that has to understand, maybe that's not how he feels, but maybe you don't have to say everything that's in your head. Like maybe there's an inside thought,
but don't
and
we
then maybe
also
there's
want
a thought that you can share. I just think also what I will say is, I think people are allowed to change their priorities. We haven't filled in a few details here. He's a brand new dad, and he was at the Masters, and he said, if my wife calls and she goes into labor, I'm leaving. And a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, because we hear opposite stories, you know? The guy whose wife is in labor, but he's still in the NHL playoffs because hockey's more important. We often hear the opposite. He also is a devout Christian. He says that he's only there because God has put him there. I find that a little more irksome than the comment he just said. Because all the other people, what? God hasn't touched them? Like, I actually, so yes, you can change your mind, but I think to use his favorite guy's words against him, and that would be Jesus, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. And in your case, maybe Scottie, it's forgive him, he knows not what he says. Wow. So I think he has to be very careful when you are sitting on $100 million to be careful what comes out of your mouth.
But we also be careful because we ask for transparency. And when we get it and we don't like it, then we say you shouldn't have said that. Say how you feel. Yeah. Say it with your whole chest. If this is how you feel, this is how you feel, we just deal with it. Let's move on to our next topic. How close are you to your partner? Are you close enough to clip their toenails in public? Take a look at this. Just take a look at this. That is Alison Brie trimming the toenails of her husband, Dave Franco, in a public park. All right, so Miguel, I'm so glad you're here today. Would you ever cut your partner's toenails in public? Audience is saying nope.
I would cut my partner's toenails in public if it was the punishment that I was served.
Yes.
I have no interest in doing that. And also, my wife would never let me cut her toenails ever.
Cut her toenails?
Yeah, okay. I would never cut her toenails, and I would never let her cut my toenails because every time I've had a pedicure, which is like 4 or 5 times, I always get chastised by the people who work in the salon, like, what is going on with your feet?
Oh.
You know, like,
what is going on with your feet?
They're not that bad, I don't think, but every time I go to get a pedicure,
you know what?
it's
You
like,
could take off your shoe and just show us what you're working with and figure out.
do you guys want to see my toe?
I just want to know if you do tip your pedicurist very generously.
Yes, I tip them to insult my feet. No, but I think, you know, there's some things that are meant to be done alone, like cutting your toenails, you know? We go to the bathroom alone, we do certain things alone. Toenails, that's privacy. Come on.
Are you being serious?
I'm dead serious.
I don't know. Pruning is my love language. I love this. I don't see the problem with it. They're in a public space on their own blanket. This is not on an airplane sitting side by side or in a restaurant where people are eating. I kind of think it's really intimate when you have a partner who's taking care of you, whether they're popping a pimple or getting rid of blackheads or trimming that little eyebrow hair. I do that. I did that for my dad all the time. I've done it for several partners. I've clipped plenty of toenails. It's not a... Y'all are all stunned silent.
Look at the face. I just barfed a little bit in my mouth.
Everything you said on the list got grosser and grosser and grosser.
I don't have a problem with it. I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you guys are really intimate. You've touched other parts, so what's a toenail? I don't get it.
It's a good point, Andrea. You make a good point.
It.
I guess it's just something with the toenails. Like, I agree. There is something about the caring. Like, I think about animals in the zoo who are always, like, grooming each other and hanging out. And there is something really tender about that. It is intimate. I maybe draw the line at feet.
Yes.
Like, there's something about men's feet in particular that are, like, their toenails, no offense, they kind of get thicker, and they got the hair.
Ooh, that clip is so gratifying.
They have more, like, claws.
And look at they're actually on a picnic blanket. So presumably they might plan on eating there afterwards. What's she doing with her hands?
Why did you put that in my mind?
All I know is this.
You just shake it out.
No, all I know is this. It's not, I think the reason why I love care and tenderness and cuddling, but feet in the summer are disgusting. Like, and so it's a hygiene question for me. I love Ryan. I will never touch his feet because especially if you're wearing flip-flops, there's dirt. I don't know where they were, New York City, but you've got dirt, you've got sweat, you've got toe jam. You put all of those things together, and then you've got my hands in it. If any of you right now were to reach down, touch your feet and smell your hands, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's your own.
Wait.
And that's your own. And that's your own. Yeah.
Great.
Toenails are the garbage of the human body.
You guys are so
We
squeamish.
throw
There
them
are
away.
worse things that come out of a human body that you have touched. A toenail is not problematic. Take
I don't
care
know
of
if you're
your partner.
convincing anybody, Andrea,
I know,
but
it's
good
okay.
try.
You know my
Good
life.
try. So last week, President Trump's Department of Justice declared there was no evidence to prove that Jeffrey Epstein maintained a client list of sexual predators or that he was guilty of blackmailing prominent individuals. So this news, though, it sent shockwaves through the MAGA base, as many pro-Trump supporters believe there is a client list. That's what they believe. The president even ran on this, revealing the list as a major platform in his campaign for office. So this about face, it seems to have infuriated members of Trump's circles, right-wing figures, people like Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They are even starting to turn on the president. Shocking. So are we surprised that this is what is starting to, fray MAGA apart?
I feel like I'm in the inside out, upside down world, because first of all the footage I've ever seen of Trump and Epstein was from a while ago, even before his first term. So I'm so confused why they thought that he would be in office and allow the files to be released because he knows that he's in them.
Well, he said he was the one who kept on peddling that stupid binder
but he's
around.
also, we see the footage, you know that he's a part of that list.
The only thing we know about the Epstein files is that for sure Trump is in them.
I know, but there's footage. There's so much footage. There's that, but I think, you know what? I think those of us who don't understand Trump supporters are all sitting back and we've been waiting to see the crack. We've been waiting to hear them say, oh my gosh, this is enough. Because the corruption and hypocrisy that has gone on since January, since he's gone back into office, has been insane. And to watch people like Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan and Candace Owens have an about face and go, you know what? This is not what we signed up for. We're like, we have been waiting for y'all. And this, obviously, the Epstein file seems to be the straw that has broken the camel's back. So I knew this was eventually gonna happen. I was just kind of waiting and like, okay, so when are you guys gonna, but I guess this is
you're
it.
not surprised.
Not at all.
Surprised.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. And actually, I'm having a little bit of schadenfreude, like watching them turn on each other a little bit, just because I think that populism is super dangerous and it's very successful right now in government, right? Trump rose to power by writing conspiracy theories and feeding that red meat to his MAGA base. And conspiracy theories, people gravitate to conspiracy theories because they offer simple answers to complex questions where there probably isn't a simple answer. But then someone tells you, if you could only see behind that door, your problem would be you'd understand it in 5 seconds. And people gravitate to that because it's easy and it's emotionally fulfilling. But usually it's not true, right? And I think that is obviously happening now to them where they're like, the Epstein files, you're gonna put it on display on TV and we're all gonna cross our arms and be like, there it is. But there's no easy answer to what was going on in that nightmarish time and situation, right? It's a huge ordeal. And the idea that you were gonna get some sort of simple answer was always gonna turn on you. And Trump now saying, oh, Obama wrote it and Hillary wrote it and Biden wrote it. Even his most fervent believers are like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that this is the thing that potentially could bring him down, right? Like, not Stormy Daniels, like not the storming of the Capitol, like not, like there's 1,000,001 things that he's done. That this is the thing, because it feels like it is a bit of old news, except that he brought it back as a part of his campaign promises. He kept on mentioning it. So one would think to believe, like, oh, if you're gonna talk about this, then you're okay with it being shown, right? Right? You must not be in it. So why this about face? Like, he was even actually saying it was the Biden administration who was withholding this information, kind of drawing this connection that it must be a bunch of Democrats who are in the Epstein files. And then there were people on, again, Trump's team who were saying, we literally have the files. Now they're saying, we don't have the files, or there are no files, or we didn't mean that file thing. Like, they're all saying all this stuff. So it's one of two things to me. Either the files actually don't exist, and then when that found out, it means he lied. And there's no question about it. Or he is in them. He realized, oh, on page 300 and whatever, whoops, I am in them, that can't get out. Either way, this fraying, I guess it's like, will this be the actual thing?
It's not.
You don't think so?
No,
you don't think
I
so?
mean, everyone's looking at everyone's making a lot of noise right now, but if you take a look at his approval ratings, nothing has changed. So I think, just give MAGA a minute until they turn their attention to the next enemy. It doesn't take much.
They've had enough minutes.
They've had enough minutes, but here's what I predict. That
It is
there's going to be
surprising,
a
though, that
headline.
people in his, like the major people, though, like Elon Musk, of course, tweeted about it and then took it down. And then, like, other people like Nikki Haley, like a lot of people who were his fervent supporters are talking about this. So that, to me, does point to a split within his most...
No, there is a split, I think, there at that level, yes. If you have Marjorie Taylor Greene going against Trump, that's like, wow, I didn't think I'd ever see that in my lifetime. But I think it's because it attacks one of the key pillars of MAGA. And they believe, according to Trump, who is their leader, that there has always been a deep state cover-up on the part of people who are liberally minded. And what is that cover-up? They believe that every Democrat in Washington is a pedophile. And I hate to even use that word on television, but they believe that this whole Epstein thing was a ruse for liberals who were pedophiles and there was sex trafficking of girls and they wanted to protect this list so that those liberal names wouldn't get out there. People like Bill Clinton and all these, what's his name? Bill Gates. And so when they realize there isn't a deep state cover-up, they don't even know what to do with themselves. So, because that is the whole idea, is about power imbalance. So now you have Trump saying, I don't know why they're talking about this. This is old news. They don't know what to do with themselves.
Never met the guy.
Upside down and inside out.
When you build a house on quicksand, this is what happens. And that's what
Hypocrisy and corruption.
It's funny to watch them try to dismantle the booby trap that they set up.
That's
You know what I mean?
exactly
That's why
it.
it's so confusing.
That's exactly it.
Okay, I'm hoping we have enough time to do this because I think you're going to find this fascinating. A user on Reddit has asked, what's something that almost everybody accepts as normal, but you think is absolutely pointless? So this got us thinking, from singing happy birthday to blessing someone after they sneeze. What are some of the things that we just accept as common but are actually kind of ridiculous?
Okay, I don't know why today's the day I'm picking on the Catholic Church, but here we go. I'm a born and raised Catholic, and I had such issues with putting my daughter through First Communion and then reconciliation. So for people who are not Catholic, that is where the little girls dress up in white dresses, they look like little brides, and they go to get their Eucharist, right? So I always was like, oh, baby brides? That's weird. But what I think more disturbing is actually reconciliation. While I understand the sacraments, I went through them myself, I had to explain to my daughter why she was going into a booth with a stranger and divulging all of her sins as a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And also, that situation encourages kids to make up sins too, because they don't know what to say to a stranger. I remember going into a confessional and being like, yeah, one time I stole a candy bar and I didn't.
Yeah, but you felt the need to say something in there. For me,
perform.
we've normalized, which I think is weird, graduation for kindergarten students. My kid's graduating the next week. How old are they? 6. Well, they're graduating from what? From junior kindergarten to senior kindergarten. I'm sorry, it's weird. It's not a thing.
It is
it's weird. Let's stop doing it.
Here's one. Going to the movies as a group.
Oh, okay.
I think that is fine. I don't have a problem with it. But people have a problem when you go by yourself. Excuse me, you're not supposed to talk at the movies.
It's true.
Sitting
You're
in the
supposed
dark.
to enjoy the movie by yourself, and then you can talk about it afterwards. People go on a date to the movies, you're like, you can't talk in there.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
What are you making a good point?
What are you doing? You can't even look at each other.
Yeah, you can't even face each other.
You know what I think is the weirdest thing that maybe people are gonna get mad at me, but go with me for a second. Where else do you go into a room with a stranger, take off all your clothes, put a robe over you, and then allow them to touch you in intimate spaces?
Well, I have several.
Massages. And I know we do it as therapeutic and whatever, but it's just so funny that we do this as married people and whatever. We don't consider this cheating. Why? We wouldn't allow our friends or our colleagues to do any of these things.
But they're not registered RMTs.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
Hey, they went to school for 3 weeks, okay?
Okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna leave
Interesting.
that there, and you can
Interesting.
take your thoughts with you to the
Interesting.
commercial break.
Okay.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.